Hello, my dear students. Welcome to a new chapter, The Open Window, first module. In this module, you're going to know more about the author. You will also comprehend the text. This is the author of the chapter, Hector Hugh Munro, better known by the pen name Saki. He was a British writer. He is considered a master of the short story and is often compared to other famous writers such as O. Henry and Dorothy Parker. His stories are clever, witty, and mischievous. In this text, he writes about a young girl who tells ridiculous stories to suit herself and the situation and how it affects others. So, we have already learned about this author, Hector Hugh Munro. Now, we are going to learn another story of Hector Hugh Munro. My aunt will be down in a few minutes, Mr. Nuttall, said a very confident young lady of 15. In the meantime, you must try and put up with me. As Frampton Nuttall followed the young lady into the quaint drawing room, he tried to say the correct something which should flatter the niece without disparaging the aunt who was yet to come. Privately, he doubted more than ever whether these visits to total strangers would do much to help the nerve cure which he was supposed to be undergoing. I know how it will be, his sister had said when he was preparing to move to this little village. You will bury yourself there and not speak to a living soul, and your nerves will be worse than ever from mopping. I shall give you letters of introduction to all the people I know there. Some of them, as far as I can remember, were quite nice. Frampton wondered whether Mrs. Sappleton, the lady for whom he was waiting with one of the letters of introduction, came into the nice division. Do you know many of the people round here? Asked the niece, when she judged that they had sufficient silent communication. Hardly a soul, said Frampton Nuttall. My sister was staying here 4 years ago, and she gave me letters of introduction to some of the people here. He made the last statement in a tone of distinct regret. So, this person was in this house to meet a lady. Uh, a lady, and he did not know her at all. She was a complete stranger to him. He was new to this village and he did not know any people over the village. So his sister, who was living in this village 4 years before, she knew some of the people over there, and she had given some letters of introduction uh, in her brother's, this person, Frampton Nuttall's hand, so that he could go and give this letters of introduction. The letter of introduction said that this is my brother, Mr. Frampton Nuttall. Please help him with all his affairs. I hope you will do the you will help him in all the matters over there. Like that, she gave a letter actually. And this Mr. Frampton Nuttall, he had a problem. He had he had a problem that he was always nervous. He was always afraid of everything. He was very anxious. He was worried, uh, like that. So he was undergoing a cure for that. So this coming and talking to total strangers is a part of that cure. So his sister was helping him with that cure, and so he was waiting for this lady, but she had gone out somewhere. So her niece was there, a girl of 15 years. She was telling him that my aunt has gone somewhere else. She'll be back in 15 minutes. Until then, you will have to adjust with me. Even if you don't like me, you'll have to adjust with me. Put up with me means adjust with me. And she asked him to come to the drawing room. It was a quaint drawing room, and it means old-fashioned drawing room. And after some time of silence, they were not talking for some time. She wanted to ask him something. So she asked, "Do you know many people around here? Do you know many people over here?" So he said, "Hardly a soul." Means I don't even know one person here. My sister was staying here 4 years before, so she had given me some letters of introduction to get to know more people over here. Then, after saying that, he regretted saying that because he felt shy, like such a big young gentleman needs letters of introduction to get introduced to someone. So he regretted saying that. He felt like he shouldn't have told that. That's why he made the last statement in a tone of distinct regret. Then you practically then you know practically nothing about my aunt, continued the confident young lady. Only her name and address, admitted the caller. He was wondering whether Mrs. Sappleton was married or widowed. Something about the room seemed to suggest that a man usually occupied it. Her great tragedy happened just 3 years ago, said the child. That would be after your sister's time. Her tragedy? Asked Frampton. Somehow in this restful country sport, tragedy seemed out of place. You may wonder why we keep that window wide open on an October afternoon, said the niece, indicating a large French window that opened onto a lawn. It is quite warm for the time of the year, said Frampton. But has that window got anything to do with the tragedy? So she was asking him, so you don't know anything about my aunt? So he admitted, yeah, I don't know anything about your aunt. Only thing I know is her name and address, that's all. And he was thinking, when he went and sat in that room, he felt like this place must have been occupied by a male. He felt like that. So he was thinking whether this lady is married or widowed. Either her husband had died or is she still married. He was just thinking that. That time this girl told that, a great tragedy happened to my aunt 3 years before. Your sister might not know about it because your sister was here 4 years before, so she might not have known about this tragedy. So he was thinking, this place, this village looks so peaceful. Tragedies seem to be out of place here, means it is not likely to happen here, tragedies. At that time, this girl told that, see that window, it's always open. See, even in an October afternoon, that window is open. So he said, maybe still it is hot, that's why you keep the window open. Or is there some connection with the tragedy and the window? He was asking. Out through that window 3 years ago, my aunt's husband and her two young brothers went off for their day's shooting. They never came back. In crossing the moor to their private to their favorite snipe shooting ground, all three drowned in a dangerous piece of bog. It had been that dreadful wet summer, and places where on safe in other years gave way suddenly without warning. Their bodies were never recovered. That was the dreadful part of it. Here the child's voice lost its confident note. Poor aunt always thinks that they will come back some day and walk in at that window just as they used to do. That is why the window is kept open every evening till it is quite dark. Poor dear aunt, she has often told me how they went out, her husband with his white waterproof coat over his arm, and Ronnie, her youngest brother, singing, Bertie, why do you bound? As he always did to tease her, because she said it annoyed her. Do you know, sometimes on still, quiet evenings like this, I almost get a creepy feeling that they will all walk in through that window. So she said that, see, and through that window, my aunt's husband and her uh, two young brothers went off for hunting. They never came back. Uh, caught in a, they were drowned in a piece of bog. Bog means chadappu nilam, we call it in Malayalam. They were caught in a bog, and it was usually that areas were safe, but because of this wet summer, it had become dangerous, and they did not even the bodies were not even recovered. That is the dreadful part of it. And she keeps that window open, thinking that they will come back one day. And even some afternoons, even I feel like in some evenings, I feel like they will come inside through that window. So that's all for today. I hope it's clear. There are a few new words here. Just go through the new words. The meanings are clearly given in the text itself. Just go through that meanings and the words. That's all. These are the self check questions. Try answering these questions. That's all for today. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.